Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Cook With Me video. So today I am making a beef stew. I have been craving beef stew lately and I found a very easy Instant Pot recipe, and it's actually from McCormick. So normally I try to use my own spices if I can, but this time I'm going to use this McCormick beef stew, which if you don't have an Instant Pot, there is a recipe on the back that's just as easy. I'm going to make some very minor adjustments to this just because I have some mushrooms that I want to use up, so I'm going to be adding some mushrooms at the end, and I'm actually not going to put these in the Instant Pot. I'm going to cook them on the stove. So what I'm doing right now is just getting all my vegetables ready. This recipe, it's going to make a portion of 8, and so we will definitely have leftovers. And this is going to be 8 points on blue, 8 points on green, and 6 points on purple. Now I possibly may add some peas to it at the end also with the mushrooms. Because peas for me, I'm on blue, so peas for me are 0 points. But if you're following green, make sure to build it in your WW app so that you can account for any extra points that that'll create. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi, and I'm currently, as I said, I'm following the blue program. I do the WW program, which is formerly Weight Watchers. But for any recipes that I give, I'll also always give the link in the description box below that will send you to the website wherever the recipe is, whether it's my website, planningushealthy.com, or if I've got it from another recipe from another website, then I will share that with you as well. And on those websites, it will also give you the nutritional facts. So that way, if you are not following WW and you're just counting calories, or you just want to know what the carbs or whatever the case may be, then you can find that there. In this, I'm putting carrots, celery, and potatoes. So I've already washed my potatoes and celery. No need to wash the carrots because I peeled them. So now I'm just going to cut them into small pieces. So I'm just going to go through now and just cut everything into small chunks. I'm using 2 pounds of stew meat that I already bought that way, which is actually stew meat from Walmart. So depending on what type of stew meat you have, it could change the points. Alright, so as you saw, I had about 3/4 pound of carrots that I put in there. I had just a few, I think 3 or 4 stalks of celery, and then I have 1 3/4 pounds of potatoes. So depending on what you use, that could be different. And now I'm taking an onion and just cutting that into slices. So you can definitely lower your points by putting less potatoes if you want. Alright, after everything's all cut up, we're going to take the beef stew seasoning and put it in a bowl with 1 1/3 cups of water. And we're going to mix that around. And then we're just going to set that aside. So the recipe does not call for flour, but I am going to add some flour. I prefer my stew to be a little bit more on the thick side rather than the soup side. So I am adding 1/4 cup of flour to the meat. So basically what I'm going to do here is just add that. And the other thing is, on the recipe it calls for a tablespoon of olive oil, which I'm not actually going to use. I am just going to use cooking spray to spray the pot. So then just keep sprinkling that on there. And then I'm gonna leave a little bit less than half. And I'm gonna mix that with some water just so that if it's not as thick as I want it at the end, then I can thicken it up and I'm not adding any additional points. And if I don't end up using that, then I will adjust that in my app and we'll see. I'm assuming I'm gonna use it because, like I said, I like mine really thick. All right, we got everything prepped. So now let me take you over to the Instant Pot and show you what we do. Okay, so as you can see, I don't actually have an Instant Pot brand. I have an Elite Bistro. This was actually gifted to me by my late mother-in-law. And so this is what I use. It is different than an Instant Pot, but I think it does pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't have all the functions that an Instant Pot has. I've noticed on some recipes it doesn't have some of the buttons, so I just do the best I can. I am still learning with the Instant Pot, and I actually have not done a whole lot of recipes yet, but so far I am absolutely loving it. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to spray the inside of the pan with cooking spray. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to put it on saute, and we're going to just let that heat up. So I'm just going to cover it so it heats up some. Alright, so once that is heated up, now we're going to add in the stew meat and just let that saute for about 5 minutes. And one thing I noticed is on that McCormick seasoning, I just realized that it already has cornstarch in it. So you could actually leave the flour out if you prefer. I did just go into the app and change it, and it doesn't change the points. So it's up to you. We'll see how thick it comes. Everybody likes the thickness different, so we'll see what it ends up being like. So I'm just going to let that cook for a little bit. Make sure that if you're using cooking spray, generously spray the pot. Because like I said, it does call for a tablespoon of olive oil, but I'm just using the cooking spray, so I need to just really watch and make sure that it's not going to stick. So I'm going to just let that cook for about 5 minutes, stirring it occasionally so it doesn't stick. Actually, I think at this point I'm going to just use this so I don't scratch my pan. Been about 5 minutes. Now the directions now say to add the vegetables, but I'm actually going to add a little bit of the liquid just so that I can get all the gooiness off the bottom. So I kind of want to scrape what was cooking to the bottom because that has a lot of flavor in there. So as you can see, that seared is now scraping right off and giving you those bits of flavor. Okay. Alright, now we're going to add our vegetables. And I'm actually going to try and break apart some of that onion. And now we're going to add the rest of the liquid. And just kind of stir it in just a little bit. And now we're going to put the lid on there. Make sure it's in airtight. So the recipe on the McCormick website says to cook it on meat/stew. So as you can see, I have a soup/stew, or I have a poultry or beef and pork. So I'm just going to use the soup/stew button. Say that real fast. So we are going to push it over to soup/stew. Now it's set for 25 minutes, so I think that's going to be perfect actually. So then we're just going to hit start, and that's it. We're going to let it go. It's going to take about 30 to 35 minutes. It usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes to come up to pressure. So when it goes off, I will come back and we're actually going to do a quick release on this one. So time's up. Now we're going to release the pressure. And just let that release, and then we'll put it in the bowl. Alright, so I wanted to show you the thickness. So I do prefer mine just a little bit thicker, so I am going to go ahead and add, I've mixed the flour with some water. I'm just going to add that and stir it up just to thicken it a little more. And that'll thicken even more once it sits. There we go. Now it's getting a lot better. And I have cooked my mushrooms and some peas, but I'm not going to mix those in with this because my husband doesn't like those in his, so I'm just going to put it in my bowl. Alright, let's get this plated. Okay, so we can do about 328 grams in each bowl. So now, let's set that aside. So now I'm just going to weigh out 328 grams. That's going to be a pretty good portion, y'all. Oh, a little bit too much. So there we go. So that much. And I tasted it. The corn or the potatoes are done. The carrots are done. I was a little bit worried that they wouldn't be quite done. So that is what it looks like. I'm going to add my peas and mushrooms. And I just actually cooked these right on the stove. So there it is. So 8 points on blue, 8 points on green, and 6 points on purple. If you are on green though and you add peas, make sure to add that to your recipe builder to see if it gives you additional points. Alright everyone, so I was going to sign off, but I wanted to show you my bowl. That was absolutely delicious. We loved it. We did add some garlic salt to our bowls, but y'all know we absolutely love garlic. I didn't want to add it when I was making it because I wasn't sure how seasoned those packets were and how salty they were, but we did add some garlic salt. So that's completely up to you. I mean, obviously everybody's taste is different. You could add any spices you want at that point. But it was very good. There was definitely enough meat, and let me show you how much is left. So I ended up pouring the peas in there because my husband said he was fine with peas. He just didn't want mushrooms in it. So as you can see, I mean, there's tons left. We did not even think twice about having seconds. And you know, there's not a lot of dishes that do that. Usually we always want seconds, especially if something's really good. So this was very filling, and it definitely was not lacking on the meat. There was plenty of meat in there. So we were definitely happy with it. Would definitely make it again, and I would probably do it for a lunch prep sometime too. So I hope y'all liked this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're new, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm planning us healthy.